Good morning, classes. I'm just going to start off by saying congratulations and glad to have you guys all in class this semester. We're starting our fall 2020 class. Now, this video is going to be the initial introduction video for all of you guys, whether you're in either one of my two financial courses or if you were in my managerial accounting course. So the first thing I would like to do is I'd like you to go into Vanco Hall, and as you look under the announcements, you'll see something that says a short syllabus. Most of your videos this semester will be exactly done the way that this one is going to be done. I will be talking in the background while I have you guys pull up the course material. So there's no better way to get started than doing the first video and the first lecture the way that the course is going to be going through. So please go ahead and open up the short syllabus that you will see, whether you're in accounting 115 or if you are in accounting 125, it does not matter. The short syllabus and the information provided in this video are going to be the same. So go ahead and open up your Vanco Halls, log in, and you should see under the first part, you will see the long syllabus and the short syllabus. Just open up your short syllabus. This is something that normally if we were in class, I would have you guys look at while I go through and explain things to you. So the first thing let's start talking about is I'm going to give you a little bit of information about myself, and then we'll go ahead and go through the short syllabus for today. So as you guys know, you're all in for some either 115 or 125 accounting. My name is Brian Vandermark. I am originally from Monticello, New York. I've graduated from SUNY New Paltz and presently finishing up my master's degree at SUNY Poly. I have been an adjunct here at SUNY Delhi for the past 8 years. This is the beginning of my 9th year here on campus. Unfortunately, this semester it's remote, so we're trying new things. Last semester came to an abrupt halt with the COVID-19 crisis and everything. I did not teach financial last semester. I've taught it pretty much every semester I've been here. Last semester was the first time. So those of you that are in my financial class, which is the 115, please bear with me. The videos have to be uploaded and have to be recorded, and everything has to be done from scratch for you guys. So there is going to be somewhat of a learning curve for me there, because I do need those of you that are in 115 to have a good financial accounting base to move forward into managerial. So that's something that may take a little bit longer. So just bear with me. We'll get through this. We'll get it done. And hopefully everybody will be good to go. So back to the syllabus. If you take a look at the top, you'll see your course that you're enrolled in. You'll see my name. It's Brian Vandermark. The credit hours, it's 3 credit hours. Doesn't really mean too much. It's just something that we have to have on our syllabuses. The next thing is my office. Now, unfortunately, as you guys all have experienced with a lot of the campus community, some of us are not going to be teaching online or teaching in person, which usually that is exactly what I do. I find that in-person instruction is a lot better. It gives us instant feedback. We can ask questions. We can do all these things. Unfortunately, with the situation, as you all know, that's not going to be the case. So some of the humor and things that I usually bring to class are not going to be in the class. So I'm going to try to make this class as enjoyable and put some stupid remarks in the middle of my lectures just to kind of keep you guys moving. And for those of you that are in accounting 115 and have to take 125 next semester, hopefully we'll be in class, so then you can actually get a chance to meet me and we can talk about things and go forward. The office phone number there is obviously my office number. Obviously, I'm not on campus, so I'm not checking that all that often. My email is there. You can see it's vanderbk@delhi.edu. That is the best way to go ahead and reach me. I have my phone on me most of the time, and I'm pretty quick about trying to get back to you via the email. If there comes a point where if you are having trouble just email me and we can figure something out. Some of you guys may or may not be on campus. Some of you may have elected to stay at home and do it from your house, your safety and security of your house, which is fine. I will try to, something that I didn't do last semester, is I will try to set up a Zoom meeting for once a week at a specific time for everybody or anybody. You're not going to be required, but if you'd like to Zoom in and speak to me and ask some questions that you may have, I will attempt to get that started this semester. This semester, however, I'm doing what I did at the end of last semester, which most of my students had found was the easiest and best way to go ahead and learn the accounting that we had to do last semester. The way that's going to be handled is you will get videos like you have right now, which, as you see, my screen hasn't moved. You're just looking outside the back window of my home. And the main purpose of that is I don't want you guys to get bogged down looking at me talking. What you guys are going to be doing while I'm talking is you guys are going to be going through your PowerPoint slides. Now, some of you guys are saying, well, there's no PowerPoint slides up yet right now. That's right. There is not a PowerPoint slide up. It is 5 clicks of a mouse and I can have your PowerPoint slides up. The point here is I want you guys to be following along. Okay, there's going to be weekly assignments that are going to be due. Your first assignment is, for some of you, already posted, even though you may not see it yet. It will be opened after this lecture is uploaded from YouTube. Now, the first assignment you have is going to be a very easy one. So we'll discuss that towards the end of the video. But I just want you guys to get this understanding of how this is going to work. Okay, so let's talk about attendance. Normally, I would be taking attendance inside of class every day. You'd sign in. So attendance with this COVID-19 thing is a little bit tricky. But keep in mind, I can and will be checking Vanco Hall's records. And if you don't know this by now, this is a little secret tidbit for some of you, because I had some people last semester that felt that they could scam the system. We can see how many times you logged into Vanco Hall. We can see how many times you logged into specific courses. We can see how long you spent on every individual page that you click on. Okay, we could also see the IP addresses that you guys logged in from. So for those, I had kids last semester that said, oh yeah, I logged in every day from the day we left campus to the final exam day. So when I went to their activity log and I see they logged in one time at the very end of the semester. Now, I don't care where you log in from. You could log in from Guam, the Caribbean. I don't care. God bless you if you're there, because at least you got sun and some beautiful weather. But the key here is that I need you guys to continue to log in, pay attention, follow the videos, okay? Follow my instructions. One thing that college students these days do not do well is follow instructions. You will not succeed very well in this class if you do not follow the instructions that are going to be given to you. Now, these videos are going to be posted on Vanco Hall for you. So you can do them at midnight. You can do them at 6 o'clock in the morning, or you can do them at 8 o'clock at night. This class is going to be a self-paced class to a certain extent. The only part that's going to be timed and things that are going to have to go in order is your exams. You will have a certain time frame to take those exams. Those time frames are not going to be extended. Okay, so if I post that we're going to be having an exam on a Thursday, I will give you guys enough time during that day, whether you got something going on or not. Keep in mind, normally you would be sitting in class. So technically that class time should be open for me to give you an exam. But I will give you some leeway. Okay, but those that miss the exams, you've got to speak to me and we've got to discuss this, because normally in class exams, I do not give retakes. Okay? So I will be checking your attendance on Vanco Hall to make sure that you're signing in, not to mention the fact that I will also see by some of your grades that on the assignments that you guys are going to have to be putting together and completing. Next thing on your syllabus, you can see where it says exams and assignments. Okay, homework assignments, they will be assigned. You will have to do them. Okay, we may have 10 homeworks, we may have 15 homeworks. The fact is that only 8 of those homework assignments, well, actually in this COVID-19 thing, 9 of those homework assignments will be counted. Okay, so I will take your top 9 scores and they will be put towards your final grade. The other part of that is the exams. There'll be 4 exams throughout the semester. Each one of these exams will be worth 100 points. Now, if you do me a favor and scroll down to the second page of your syllabus, you'll see down at the very bottom, you'll see something that says test 1, test 2, 3, homework, so on and so forth. That is the rubrics for your grading scale. Okay? So I just told you that there's going to be 4 exams. You'll see that they're all worth 100 points. And then you will have, I have to change this a little bit, but it says homework/quiz, 9 or 8. It should be 9 now with the COVID thing. And then your instructor evaluation would be only worth 10. Okay, so let's say, for instance, we have 15 homeworks and you've got 12 of them done and you've got perfect scores on 12 of them. I'm going to take the top 12. Okay, your top 9. I'm going to take your top 9 homework scores and put them towards your final exam score. Okay, now the total points that you can actually receive in this class, as you see here, it says your total points would be 500. Now, if you look right above there, you'll see my grading scale. Let's say let's go with, I've accumulated 375 points for the semester. If you take a look at the grading scale, you'll see that the 375 points that you've accumulated for the entire semester would end up giving you a C+. This grading scale is very cut and dry, so you can follow along with your grades at any point in time. Okay? Let's say you got 407 points. If you look at the chart there, you'll see 407 falls in a B grade. Now, keep in mind, the instructor evaluation is one of those things where in class I would usually use your attendance, your participation in class as a means for me to go ahead and have a little bit of wiggle room with your grade. I will continue to use that 10 points for that very purpose. Okay, if you're at a point where, let's say you have 344 points in class, you can see that's a D+. All right, and I understand that we're doing something online. For some of you guys, it's new to you. Even for some of your instructors, it's new to them. Let's say that you got 344 points, but all semester long, you've been emailing me, asking me questions. We've been working through things, and you just had a tough time, but I know you put forth that effort. Okay, I know you did. Well, that's where that instructor evaluation points come in real handy. Because I know, all right, John Doe did a lot of work. He tried his best, did whatever he could do. He emailed me. He did everything he could possibly do. Well, I'm going to give you those extra points to get you up to that C-. Most of you guys won't realize, yes, I know C's and D's get degrees and so on and so forth. But in the real grand scheme of things, at the end of your college career, you want to look back and have the best GPA as possible. So it may not seem like a big deal to you guys right now, a D+ or a C-. In the grand scheme of things, yeah, it's not that big of a deal, but it should give you some recourse later. So testing, homework assignments are there. That's how we're going to be graded this semester. Your grading rubrics is right there at the back of this so that you can see it. So you have no problems there. Everything is cut and dry. It is on the syllabus for you to look at. The next thing is academic honesty. A lot of these things are mainly for in-person classes. Most of my classes are taught in Sanford Room 116, which has about 35 seats. And typically I have about 30 to 32 students in a classroom. So when it comes to academic honesty and things like that, it's more so that kids would just try to, in a better words for it, cheat off each other. So it's a little bit harder to do so. Possibly here it is somewhat easier in some respects, and I'm not going to tell you how it's easier. But keep in mind that we've all seen these situations happen before. We can all tell when things are going on. So just do your work. If you listen and follow through with what we're all doing, and if you follow the directions, everybody should be fine. So that should not become an issue. Email. It's the best way to get in touch with me, all right? Please keep that in mind. Please, please, please do not feel worried or scared to email me. If we were in class, I would be telling you this. Please, if you have a question, ask it. Do not be concerned what the girl next to you is going to think that if you ask a stupid question, or the guy across the room that you like that you don't want him to think that you're stupid or whatever. Keep in mind, you're paying for your college education. They are not. So if you've got a question, ask it. Okay? No matter how stupid or whatever the case may be, ask your questions. Okay? In the end of the day, you're the one who's got to go home and try to do your homework. You're the one who's got to go home and try to take your exams. And you know what? Don't worry about what somebody else thinks about the question you asked. Worry about yourself. Okay? So don't get bogged down with the whole social idea that, oh, somebody's going to think I'm stupid. You know what? I think you're smarter for asking a question, because I will also guarantee you that if you have a question, there's probably 2 or 3 other individuals in the class who have that same question who are just not brave enough to ask. All right? So even if it's just a one question, one sentence email to me about a question, so be it. At least in this situation, you will have the ability to email me and your classmates won't even know what you're asking. So take that to class in any class. Feel free to ask questions, okay? Part of our job is to help you guys and to educate you guys, and we need that feedback also, okay? The feedback that you guys give is important. When we're standing in front of you guys lecturing in class, we get to see your facial expressions. A lot of times you guys don't realize it. We can tell when you've completely lost a topic or when you actually got it. Not to mention we can tell when you're texting on your cell phones in class, and we don't want you to either. So just keep that in mind. Ask your questions, email your questions to me. Please feel free. Now, again, the last part on the syllabus that you see there is a cell phone policy. Now, obviously, I don't care right now. We are not in class. We're doing it remotely. So most of you guys are probably going to have something running in the background while you're doing your homework, or you may be on the phone with a friend who's in the class that you know, and you're doing the work together, whatever the case may be. So it is what it is. So I'm just not even going to discuss that any further as far as cell phones or electronics, because we need them right now. All right. So with that being said, couple other things I just want to point out to you before I end this video and go ahead and upload it for you guys is please make sure you use your email. If anybody has any Achievement Center or academic learning protocols, whether you're a person who has met with Gabrielle Vasta for extended time on exams or things like that, please make sure that you email me and put in the subject line Resnick Learning Center, so that this way I know, because there are certain things that I need to do when setting up assignments and quizzes and tests to account for those of you that have extenuating circumstances and things like that. I will attempt to work with you as much as possible, but I do need to know if you are one of those students. Otherwise, things should be pretty normal. One thing I do want to point out to you, and I'm not advertising anything here, this is more so just an FYI. Along with teaching at SUNY Delhi as an adjunct for the last 8 years, I've owned a business in town. So if any of you guys have a pressing need to ask a question or tell me something, or you need some help with something, I can be found in Delhi pretty much every day of the week except Tuesday. For those of you that none of you guys have, as far as I can see from my class roster, I've had or know, I do own the pizzeria next to Price Chopper. So if you happen to be down at the plaza by McDonald's and Smoker's Choice, I do own Cagino's. So if you do have a question that you feel like you have to come in and speak to me about, you can stop into the shop and ask to speak to me. Please keep in mind, it is a restaurant. It is my main source of income, my business. So stopping in at 6 o'clock on a Friday night is probably not the most convenient time to stop in. 2 o'clock in the middle of the afternoon is probably a good chance that I'll be able to actually sit down and speak with you or answer any questions that you may have. But again, those are the things that I want you to do at the last resort. Okay. As a business owner in town, I do want to just convey a message. Um, Please, guys, be careful, be smart, wear your masks, wash your hands, um, social distance. As much as I hate that word, um, I know that you guys are in college. You're here to educate yourselves, but you're also here to have an experience. Let's not become the next SUNY Oneana. As most of you guys know, SUNY Oneana has shut down after 1 week of in-person classes. They have, at the time of this recording, I believe, around 110 active cases of COVID-19 on their campus. Stemming from parties, whatever it may be. I'm not condoning anybody partying. I'm not saying don't do it. Don't be a hermit in your room. Don't do that. All right. But be safe and be smart. Okay. We all went to college before. We've all had our experiences college. Some of the things you'll hear me talk about during some of my lectures, I'll talk about marijuana, I'll talk about beer pong, I'll talk about dirty racks. And mainly the reason I say those things is because with accounting, the best way to learn it is to relate it to your personal life as much as possible. I'm going to quickly give you a example and just listen to this really quickly. One of my former employees was a freshman in college, and he happened to be taking Mr. Molay's, I want to say, marketing class. I forget exactly which one it was. Now, this kid was a smart kid. He knew his stuff. He was a smoker. So he comes into work one day with a first quiz from Malay's class, and he got a 65, and he was pissed off. And so I look at the exam, and I'm like, yeah, this is easy. Well, it was for me, because throughout my college career, I learned the more you relate things to your personal life, the better off you'll be. So in short, to say, this quiz talked about the supply and demand of tires, car tires in Delhi. That's really freaking boring. Okay, really boring. So I turned around and I said to this kid, I said, do me a favor. I want you to change the word tires to blunts. Now, you guys are all like, what? Blunts? This kid was a smoker. Okay, all he did was smoke pot day in and day out. So he changed the word blunts and he retook the exam, the quiz. And after changing one word on the exam, like I said, he changed the word tires to blunts. He got a 95 on that quiz because he actually had to think about and relate it to his own personal life. Well, one of the things that he said to himself was like, okay, if there's not a lot of supply of pot in town, then the price of the pot is going to go up because more people want it. They're willing to pay more. Simple supply and demand. If there's a lot of supply in town, price goes down. It's the way it should work. So once he changed one word on his quiz, he ended up scoring a 95. So I will try to relate this course to things that you guys can relate to. I would much rather your parents hear me say something stupid about beer pong and them to realize that you actually understood the topic at hand than me talk about widgets, which you guys don't care about anyway. Okay? So those are just some of the tidbits into succeeding in this class. The last thing I want to mention on here is that there is something that is going to be posted both for managerial and financial accounting students, and it will be under the first topic on your Vanco Hall. You will see something that says pre-test assignment. Okay? This is a quasi-quiz, but it will not affect your grade. What we do is we give you a 10-question quiz the very first day of class. Now, this quiz is on things that you may or may not know now. Okay? You may or may not know any of the answers to this, which is perfectly fine. At the end of the semester, the last day of class, you'll take that same quiz again. And what that quiz will do will help us gauge how much you've actually learned throughout the semester. So that is going to be your first assignment for this class. is to go ahead and take your pre-test assignment. That pre-test assignment is on Vanco. You have 30 minutes to do it. Typically, if we were in class, everybody's done in 5, so it's not something that you're going to need all 30 minutes with. Again, it's not something that, even though it will show a grade in the grade book, it's not going to count. This is strictly to gauge where you start and where you end as a class as a whole. Typically in class, I don't even let you write your names on these because I don't want to see who does what. Unfortunately, with Vanco Hall, this doesn't allow me to have it anonymous. So just go ahead and do it. Again, if you get nothing right, don't be worried about it because you haven't been taught anything yet. The whole purpose of this is to gauge where you are and where you will be. Okay? The last tidbit I want to give you is some online learning tips. Okay? And these may or may not work for you in other classes, but I will tell you that these should and will help you learn in this class. All right? Your videos that you're going to see, you'll see a background. My background on your video hasn't changed one single bit, mainly because I want you to follow along. So on your first video for your first assignment, which will be for Thursday's lecture, it's going to tell you, open up chapter 1 PowerPoint slides. And what you're going to find is I'm going to go through those PowerPoint slides the same way I would if I was standing in front of you. The only luxury of the fact that we're going to be doing this online is twofold. It works great for 2 reasons. 1, you don't have to look at me. Okay, that's number 1. That's it. You ain't got to look at me. Number 2 is with them being on video, you can look at them, you can listen to them, you can go through them 2, 3, 4, 10, 15, however many times it takes you to understand the topic, you will have the ability to review that video. Okay? So these videos are not going to be taken down. They're going to be left up there for you the entire semester. And the best part of that is I can also go ahead and say, see, I told you so. So do not be afraid to stop the videos and actually go through the slides a little bit better. These slides, typically I would ask that you print them out. And the reason I ask you to typically print out the slides is so that you can go ahead and write notes, things that are not in the slideshow. Okay? There are things that you will find that are not written on the slides that I'm going to expect you to know. Okay? And those are things that I will point out as I go through the lectures and as I go through the slides. But the biggest reason for not having me on the screen is I don't want to be the distraction. Okay? I'm not here to distract you. I'm here to educate you. So with the fact that you can have YouTube running in the background and just listening to the video while following along on your slides is going to be like a step-by-step thing. Okay? When it comes to assignments, I usually typically will email you a notice that the assignment is posted. And in that email, I will pretty much tell you how I want that assignment to be submitted. Okay, now submissions may be on Vanco. Submissions may be by email. You make sure you read the directions on anything and everything you do. Okay, please. Number 1 thing is read your directions. Whether it's in class, out, online, remote learning, asynchronous, synchronous, whatever. Make sure you read. Read. Okay? So with that, I'm going to sign off for your first video for Tuesday. Today is September 1st. I can't believe that September is already in front of us. So you've got a 30-minute video to watch. Follow along with the slides. And I can say signing off, and I'll speak to you guys later on. All right? Please keep in mind, make sure you do your pre-test assignment. It is on Vanco. It will be open for you to do. Please have that completed by Thursday, and we will go from there. I will also open up our first chapter's worth of PowerPoint slides for each one of you guys, both financial and managerial. It would not hurt if you opened them up and just started skimming through them to get an idea of what we're going to be talking about. All right. If you have any questions, please email me, and we'll get through this. Have a nice day. Talk to you guys on Thursday.